Was dividing the Turning Tides DLC into 2 parts a good idea? Guys, today we're gonna take a look at the stuff that we gained and lost because of DICE deciding to split Turning Tides DLC into 2 separate pieces. If you're not familiar with the whole problem, and I suppose there is some of you out there who aren't, because you either got Battlefield 1 for Christmas or you got Premium for Christmas and you weren't interested in the DLC stuff because why would you be if you didn't own Premium? Essentially, for the first time in Battlefield series history, DICE or EA, doesn't really matter, they're both the same thing at this point, decided to split one DLC into 2 parts and release one of them in December and the second one in January. The main question in this whole discussion is why would they go for such move and why would they decide to split DLC? The one that is most likely in my opinion is that the content wasn't just ready. The content wasn't ready and they needed to put something out before Christmas to increase sales. It's an obvious thing from the marketing standpoint and not gonna say it's a bad move, it's actually very smart if you consider business, but not from the gamer standpoint. I'm not sure what's wrong with Battlefield 1 DLCs, but something's definitely wrong. Do you guys remember Tsar DLC? It took it 6 months to get released, and yet not only we got broken build, but also stuff like Tsaritsyn map being released into the testing environment 3 days before the release of DLC? Come on! It didn't leave any time for developers to do some tweaking or fixes on the map. And before I get any stupid comments saying, well, that's because developers are lazy and they're not doing anything, they're actually doing a lot, but I suppose that majority of those comments come from people that never worked. If you work in the office and your whole company is failing, it's not because you are failing in the company, you as a one person. It's because the management sucks and they don't know how to prioritize. And I'm not saying the exact thing is happening in this situation, but those developers responsible for Battlefield 1 are also designing Battlefield, I don't know, World War II or Bad Company 3, whatever the next title will be, they're also working on that game, they're also working on the Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they're also working on some other games. It's not like they're not doing anything, they're doing a lot, but they're doing what they're told to do. Besides, how can you even claim they're not doing anything? Who else is doing such moves in the gaming industry except for EA and DICE? No one. There is no other company that can create games on such high quality level. If you compare graphics, netcode and all of the other stuff in Battlefield 1, there is no other game that can match it and still provide 64-player games. So now comes the actual question. What could we actually lose in this situation and what could we benefit from it? As far as the benefits go, there's pretty much nothing except for getting better designed content. They had more time, they could tweak things, fix things, so it might be better in the end, but it's not necessarily certain to happen. When it comes to the stuff that we lost, I'll have to admit here that I'm tired of playing Turning Tides at this point. I really am, because I've been rotating through those 2 maps 24/7 for the past 2 weeks. And you know what's even worse? The exact same thing will happen in January when we get the other 2 maps. Plus we aren't getting a new operation, and as you may or may not know, operations are actually my favorite game mode in BF1. Just to be clear guys, I'm not saying I don't like those maps, I think they're great. I'm just bored of playing them. I suppose there is quite a lot of players who feel the same way, because let's be honest, in previous DLCs we were always rotating throughout at least 4 maps. And now 2 maps, come on, it's not enough. The DLC hype is gone. I personally think that splitting the DLC wasn't a good idea, but I still prefer to have the DLC split rather than receiving a broken content. I don't want to get a broken netcode for a month, same as we did with In the Name of the Tsar DLC. It was just horrible. Anyway guys, that would be it for this video. Before you click off, let me know what do you think about Turning Tides DLC and dividing it into 2 parts. Write down the comment, and as always, if you enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and I see you on the battlefield.